So 10 years ago, give or take a few days, I was standing on the third floor, and I was looking down at the outgoing Chief Fantino handing the coveted sword to Chief William Sterling Blair. And at that day, there was not a thought in my mind that I would ever be standing here having Chief Blair hand me the coveted sword. But I've got to tell you, it feels really great.
And that is Mark Saunders being sworn in as Toronto's police chief. And now, over 5 years later, he is calling it a career. So we're going to take a look back and a look forward as well on what's next for the force and for him personally. And we say good morning to Chief Saunders for the last time that we'll probably say that at police headquarters. Good morning to you, Chief.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. I mean, I'm sure you were watching those visuals, or at least hearing them, of you being sworn in, and a lot has happened in the last 5 years for you. I want to start here. You've been through so much as chief. You've seen two major things hit our city. We're talking about the Toronto van attack, a Danforth shooting, which we saw a 2-year anniversary on it. Some really horrible things happen to our city, but also some great things under your watch. What are some standout moments for you?
Well, I think that any time that this organization got put on a world map and how we performed, the men and women of this organization are absolutely sensational, and I've been so proud each and every day that I occupied this seat. And I had a quick flashback when I was listening to you talking about the changing of command, where Chief then Blair gave me the sword, and I'm so excited to hand it off to whomever steps in this great seat next.
Well, whomever does step into this next great seat has a lot of challenges ahead for them. I remember asking you this very question a month and a half ago when you joined us about what is needed for the next chief. They are obviously stepping into a role where public perception is maybe not at its highest right now. We've seen confidence and trust in police, again, being challenged. So what is needed for this next chief?
Well, I think the next chief first, he or she has to read the fine print. That's critical. But listen, anyone that's thrown their hat into the ring to police the biggest, fourth largest city in a North American continent has to come in eyes wide open and understand that there are going to be challenges each and every day. But what you have to do is you have to make sure that the core of who you are in that seat representing the office of the chief is one that has humanity, is one that is compassionate, but most importantly is one that listens.
Chief, we were talking a little bit earlier, I don't know if you were listening, myself, Dina, and Devo, about you, Mark Saunders. We actually have had the pleasure of speaking to you off camera. A lot of people, the public, see you in press conferences. They see you in media scrums. They see you as the face of tragedy. We've also seen you as Mark Saunders, and I'm curious as to what this has been like for you personally, for your mental health, to be able to be the face of some horrible things that our city has faced, and to move forward from there. It's not an easy task.
No, anyone that joins law enforcement has to really have an understanding of what they're getting into, and we will provide all of the training that is necessary. But I think the key and most critical piece is the fact that you don't take things personally. Other than the compassion piece, you have to utilize everything to the best of your ability as a learning process to see how you can improve the next time something comes your way. And I can tell you, because of the fact that was how I've always thought, it's helped me out a lot. But going home, you see the toll that it takes on your family too, and so it's not just a one-person seat. It really is a conglomerate of so many other people that care about you as well.
Absolutely. As we look ahead to the future of the police force, calls for defunding police, calls for reallocating some of the resources into, especially in mental health calls. What are the last conversations that you're having right now as you move forward, and what's going to be happening with this budget?
Well, this will lie in the hands of we've got a very learned board that we report to. The budget that we present is presented to our board, and then the board is who presents it to City Hall. And so these are discussions that are always in the works, and we always deal with every challenge that's put in front of us. And so this is really nothing new. I do understand that the emotions are higher than ever before, but I really do believe in the greater good at the end of the day. The only way that we can all improve or move forward is through collectiveness, and I know that day is going to come. And then the big question is how do we work with the communities, how do we work with our board to figure out what the absolute best process should be on the way forward when it comes to our relationships.
Chief, being named the first black Toronto police chief comes with a lot of responsibility, but do you find, or did you find, that it came with it some pressure that you couldn't live up to? I remember that, I believe this is a quote from a scrum that you were part of. You said, being black is fantastic. It doesn't give me superpowers. That's something you said when you first became chief. How has that changed over the last 5 years in your outlook?
Well, I mean, it is what it is. The two things in life that I'll have is I'll stay black and I'll die, right? So, but having said that, my lived experience has really provided me a great opportunity in this seat to look at our training, to look at what I felt would be necessary, to have an understanding that each and every person, not just the men and women that are out on the street, but the staff that are here, you have to understand the value of a lived experience. That is something you can't take away from someone. That's what defines them. And if you're going to do your job great, it's understanding that concept before you start engaging in conversation or before you start moving forward.
Chief, do you believe that our police force is on the right track? Obviously, at top of conversation, we're talking about anti-black racism. There is a lot of movement on that front. Not fast enough, as many community members will say. Are we on the right track?
This organization, the Toronto Police Service, is moving faster than any other organization I can think of. On a national platform, people are saying that we are the leaders when it comes to the race-based data collection. This is a template that should be used. That's a great statement. And it also speaks to the fact that this was not reactive on our part. When we talk about anti-black racism, when we talk about implicit, explicit bias, we have been training to that for years. And not only just training in theory, but through application as well, and measuring to see whether or not we're getting it right. So, this is the big show, and we've got some of the best in policing, and I'm so proud that we got it before it's a narrative that holds today, and the fact that what we're doing is not reactive, it is continuous and as active as it will continue to be in order for us to serve our communities that we serve.
Chief, hindsight is an interesting thing. I'm curious if, when you look back on your 5 years as chief, or even as your 37 years on the force, is there anything that you would have done differently?
Yeah, and you know, I'll give this to whomever my successor is going to be. Really, if you have an opportunity, you have to try to live in the moment. When you're in the seat, when there's so much pressure and there's so many challenges, and every day is absolutely different and challenging, you really do not live the moment. And then it takes you time later to figure things out, but sometimes that's a little too late. So the bigger aspect is not just getting the job done, but try your very best to live the moment. And when you do that, I think that you come out of this a whole lot healthier and really having a full understanding of the great work that the men and women have done to provide the opportunity for you to have a decent moment to relive.
Final question for you, and everyone's been asking you, and I don't think you've given an answer yet, because maybe you don't have the answer on this one yet, is the what's next for Mark Saunders?
Yeah, so I mean, I've had my brain pliable for the past 5+ years, going at 1,000 miles an hour. I certainly can't go down to zero, nor do I intend to. But what I absolutely have to do is reset. There are some personal things that has to be looked after, and that is my primary focus. And then really after that, it's going to be free agent Mark Saunders, and hopefully between the decisions made with my family as a whole, it gives me an opportunity to move in a different journey and learn some more new and exciting things. And the one thing that I've loved about this job is that you get to meet so many fantastic people in this city. I wish everybody knew how many people in this city care about others before self, not just law enforcement. And it's given me a lens that I will definitely keep with me forever.
We do have a wonderful city, that's for sure. Do you see yourself then with a bigger role in the city of Toronto? I keep asking you these questions. I know you don't have an answer right now.
I don't know if there's a bigger role than this. I can tell you. I wish I could tell you so much stuff and what I do in this seat. I just want to keep moving forward. I joined policing because I felt it a duty to serve others. It's in my core. It's in all of our cores. And so my pro bono stuff will definitely be to help with some of the issues that I see out there. I lose a seat, but I don't lose my wisdom. And I'm hopefully going to be able to apply that. And if I can alter any young man's life, then it's a great day for me.
Chief, 37 years of public service. We appreciate it. We thank you for all of your work that you have done, and we do hope we stay in touch. I know Dina definitely wants to invite you back once you've figured out.
Oh, no, Dina?
Oh, I hear you, Chief. I hear you, Chief.
They're cheering for you. You have, and they do want to say hello because you've been to our station many times, for sure, and we've had some great conversations. So there's Dina.
So good to see you. Love to you and your family.
Hi,
Listen,
Dina.
Devo.
You know what I could see right
Thank
away
you.
in talking to
man.
Mal, all these serious, you are beaming. You are so ready for this retirement. You could taste it. Am I right, Chief?
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And since I'm an honorary Italian, I have that much more passion in moving forward.
That's right. And I remember you said, Dee, one of these days, because we're always dancing, you see the fun we have here. I said, you're going to join us. So whenever you're ready down the road, the invite is open for the dance party that never was. We'll make it happen here on BT. We wish you the best of luck. Thank you for
Yes.
everything you've
Thank you.
done
Love
for
you
this
guys.
city.
You
and
too.
love to you and your family.
Thank you,
Back at you,
Chief.
Chief. Thank you.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you.